coffee table. What could this be about? I mean, we've seen some weird objects kill people. I mean, is this gonna come alive? Is it haunted? Um, I don't know. I mean, we even saw a killer sofa. I mean, some of you might have seen that, but what is this one about? Let's see here. IMDb says Jesus and Maria are a couple going through a difficult time in their relationship. Nevertheless, they have become parents. To shape their new life, they decide to buy a new coffee table. New parents have to have a coffee table. I don't know. A decision that will change their existence. All right. So yeah, again, I guess something is gonna go on with this coffee table, maybe. All right. So to get the usuals off the top here, um, did get a screener for this one, so put that out there. And a quick funny story about that. Um, I put the press release out for this on Promote Horror, and again, I just saw the coffee table, and I go through it all and look at it real closely to see what was going on there. Put it out there, and then a little while ago, my friends again at Beyond the Void horror podcast put up a thing. They tagged us again on Promote Horror, and they are all excited about this one. And I was like, okay. So just like Low Lives, I was like, okay, what did I miss? And I kind of wrote back to them, oh, I guess I should have got that screener because I was offered a screener with the press release, and I just didn't think of it. And I didn't realize they had tagged also the distributor of the film, and they were like, "Hey, what's going on? Do you want a screener?" I'm like, "Okay, well, I guess, they were really excited about the film, so I guess I should see it." So once again, I'm going to credit Beyond the Void for getting me to watch another movie. So I've watched this one thanks to them. So just that was a quick story there, and again, thank you to them. And so with that, keep this very spoiler free, and very, very spoiler free on this one. Not going to tell you too much because holy shit. Just holy shit with this movie. There a lot to be said, a lot to not be said because I want to keep it spoiler free, but just damn. You want a movie that's disturbing, that's going to bother you. It's been several days since I've seen this movie, and all I've been doing is thinking about this movie. It is in my head. It is not going to be for everybody. It might be a hard watch for some. It is definitely a disturbing horror movie. But it is definitely a horror movie. Very real life horror movie like. And that's part of the beauty of it. It'll be tough to watch for anybody, especially if you're not a horror fan and you watch this. Still be tough for horror fans to watch. I know probably one of the harder ones to watch more recently was Speak No Evil, and that was a pretty messed up film, and had some craziness going on there, especially at the end. And a lot of people said that one. I think when Evil Lurks was kind of another one that was a little rough for some people, but those had different elements to them. One was, kind of like a slasher, kind of crazy family kind of thing. And then another kind of was, kind of an exorcist kind of thing. This is just more real and more possibilities of this kind of thing happening. Maybe not to this extreme, or hopefully not to this extreme, but yeah. Definitely. So if you, had the phrase disturbing horror movie in the dictionary, they would definitely have a picture of this movie there beside it, or definitely under there if you wanted an example of it. So I'm not gonna get too much into it. I'll just kind of say how this movie starts. Basically, you are meeting the couple, And oh, I should also say, the movie is Spanish, from Spain, I believe, if I got that correct. So the movie is in Spanish. So, if you naturally speak Spanish and can understand it, it's fine. If not, it is in subtitles. And, as I tell you guys often, I'm usually, doing stuff for promote horror as I watch these movies. So I'm not, you know, always in tuned and always whatever. But I'm telling you, as this movie went on, I was glued. I was like, whatever I'm doing, not doing really. And I'm watching this movie because I needed to read everything that was going on. So if I know subtitles aren't for everybody and whatever, but to really get the punch and to really absorb everything that's happening here, if you don't understand Spanish and you have to read the subtitles, please read the subtitles. Please follow the subtitles. I know, for me, I do it all the time. I get lost in it, whatever. But if you don't, if you don't follow what's being said, you're going to miss some of the punch that's happening here, and the kind of the torture, and I'll get into that. That's going on here, because a lot of the torture in this movie is emotional, and if you're not reading it and you're just watching it, you're just not gonna see what is happening and comprehending what is happening. So that's that. So yeah, so early in the film, it starts off with the couple. They're in this weird furniture store, and it's the two of them and the baby, and they're facing a salesman, and Jesus is interested in this interesting looking coffee table, and to take back to their apartment, and Maria is not. So they're basically having this conversation. The salesman is doing his best, so, saying all the great things about this table, why they need the table, and so forth. Jesus is not saying too much, but he's pretty much all in. He's like, this is the table for me, and Maria is the one who's having a bigger reaction because she hates it, she doesn't want it, she doesn't like it. There's nothing about this table that she wants. She doesn't like the salesman, and she has some unkind things to say about him. Uh, and what it is they're giving you the impression that she's a little rough around her edges, and a little bit in charge. I mean, she the baby is pretty newborn here. So, she's dealing with all that and all the stress, and the stress of their relationship and so forth. So she's really not in a mood. She's not in a mood for this coffee table, and she's not in a mood for the salesman and nothing. And at the end of the day, he's basically makes the point that, you've picked everything for the apartment and so forth, and made all these decisions. I need a win. I want this one. I want this table. So, she kind of walks away, and then he just kind of like tells the salesman, hey, I'm going to take it. So the scene kind of cuts. They go on. You see they're in an apartment building, and you see him kind of having to push this big box, up the stairs and so forth. He eventually is going to get it towards the apartment, and that is, as he gets it in, you're going to meet two neighbors. I believe it was a 13-year-old girl and her mother, and the girl is kind of quiet there with her dog in the corner, and the mother there is then sees Maria, and then they're talking about the baby, and how excited everybody is, blah blah, and they kind of go in the apartment. Then as he kind of slides the coffee table in, the young girl kind of goes up to him and starts this really awkward conversation about them having a relationship, and she likes him, and she expects him to kind of leave his wife or Maria for her, and it just comes out of nowhere, so it's kind of awkward. So this movie really kind of has a kind of funny tone there when he with the salesman and the arguing, and then this really awkward conversation to kind of set things up. And I just say that because that's pretty much, most of what I can say, because everything after that is kind of downhill. So after they have that conversation, they go back in the apartment, and his brother and girlfriend are going to come over. So, they get settled in, and Maria's like, I'm going to go to the store. And kind of as she's getting ready to do for that, he's fixing the coffee table and kind of setting it up, and kind of getting that all set. So, I'm not gonna say too much more about what is going to happen here. Um, that is basically the setup. From here, it's just bad things that happen, and uh, you know, uh, I was thinking about it. I'm like, this is it becomes a movie where you as the audience know what has happened, and what is going on. There are other individuals here that are not going to know what's happened. They're going to be, in the dark about what is happening here. And, as this unfolds, one individual in this movie is just going to go through extreme emotional torture, as this goes on. And, part of it is like it kind of says there, it is, as you go through life, everything's a decision. Sometimes you decide, go right, go left, this, that, buy this, buy that. And, some things are like, whatever. They really don't seem to have too much of an impact. But then, there are other decisions that are made that, surprisingly have an impact. And, one individual in this movie makes decision and then decision and decision, and that kind of takes this movie down its course, and they get just emotionally tortured. And if you follow along the torture, and that's why I said you got to read the things, read the subtitles if you're not understanding what's going on, and just see the way this unfolds and how great this is written in emotionally torturing this person. And it is a tough thing that happens. And they're just going to, I was thinking about it, I'm like, think about it as, whatever, you take the Saw franchise, and that's known for torturing people physically, a lot. Take whatever your favorite Jigsaw trap is, and the one you thought was the most painful and hurtful to a person, and just kind of take this as the same thing but emotionally, just emotionally, and you as the audience are seeing it, and seeing it get driven in, and the emotional screws that are getting turned and turned and turned, and what is happening. And they're going to kind of maybe drop a hint or two that kind of leaves you to think. And I don't want to say too much, because again, I'm trying to completely stay away from spoiler here. But when you think that it was bad, and you think you know what has happened and how bad it is, by the time it gets to the end, it is going to be super bad. I think my jaw almost dropped, because you as the audience know in general what is going to happen and what happens, but you really don't know until they let you know at the end. And I was like, oh damn. Yeah, it is just crazy. And so, I wish I could say more. I don't want to, and I encourage you to kind of take this movie as I did. Even after Beyond the Void, it's kind of said to watch this movie, I still didn't know what the movie was about. I didn't watch the trailer, so I really advise you, just you come across this movie. Again, this is a new movie. I think it's been in some festivals. Some people have seen it. I noticed since after I watched the movie, I've gotten a couple of things on YouTube to say, hey, look, this is a review of this. And I haven't seen it, even though now I've seen the movie, but I didn't see those things. But so there are some reviews out. It has been in some festivals. I think it's just hit some theaters before I think it gets a bigger release. But, if you do come across it, do want to see it, just don't watch the trailer. Don't know anything about it. Just watch the movie. But be prepared because it is disturbing. It is hard to watch. It is not going to be for everybody. But seriously, when I think about this movie, and just everything that's done, and how everything is played out, and the torture and the horror of it, and the real lifeness of it. This is not a movie that's got zombies and hauntings and all this mysterious stuff and slashers and stuff. I mean, this is as close to a real life situation and horror as it can be. And it really strikes a tone with me because it is so horrific in everything that happens here, and it is such a horror movie and such horror, and it is an original horror movie. I mean, that's what it is. And I keep seeing these things about remakes and reboots, and that's all they want to do. And a certain company or two, that's all they're interested in doing. They want to redo everything in the book. And then I watch a movie like this, and I go, this is why you don't have to redo everything in the book. This is why you can do original horror and make it great and just have an impact on people, because everybody watches in this movie, it's going to have an impact. I mean, even if you hate the movie, you're still going to be royally effed because that's what is happening in this movie. You're going to be thinking about it, and you're probably, if you do hate it, it is because you just don't like the situation that played out, and it is a tough thing to deal with, and it'll be for a certain group of people it'll probably be even tougher, and so that's that. So while everybody's out there remaking, or not everybody, I should say, certain people out there love doing these remakes and reboots and all that, and some of it turns out okay, but there's just no need for all of it. Just do original horror like this. This is a perfect example of why you just don't need all that nonsense. And this is a movie that every horror fan should see. Yes, to be tortured, but yes, to be horror. This is horror. Like, this situation is horror, and it is as real life horror. Again, it's not slasher, it's not zombies, it's not like all this other nonsense. Not nonsense, but other stuff that is not going to happen, or probably not going to happen. This is just real. It's disturbing. It's watching a character just go through the ringer, and it's going to and it's going to get a reaction from you. A movie you should watch, and have a reaction for. And I kind of think there are certain movies that do that. Like, I remember Blair Witch. When I saw that originally, kind of thinking about, as I watched the movie, I was like, what, and that was one of the first found footage movies, there is, and to watch in a theater and so forth, at least for me, and I kind of watched it. I wasn't sure what to take about it, but then, as I left the theater, and the longer I was away from the theater, and the more I thought about the movie, and the ending to that movie, it's like, damn, like, what, that was just messed up ending. So, that kind of thing. So, like I said, I've been thinking about this movie and everything that's been, that happened in it, and just how they played everything out, and how they tortured this individual, and the torture that this individual goes through. Again, I'm not going to review this a second time, but, I know I kind of hinted I might do that with Low Lives, because I didn't want to give away the twist to that. I almost wish that I would do that here too, and just be able to speak about what happens in this movie and the beauty of how they torture this individual. But if you watch the movie, you will see it. And I've said it already 2 or 3 times. Follow along, pay attention. If you don't understand Spanish, please read the subtitles, because if you don't and you just stare at the screen, you're going to not understand everything and all the torture that this individual is going through. And if you just stare at the screen, it's not going to be as impactful. You have to see everything that's said. I mean, not 100% of it is necessary to read, but there's enough there that you need to get and just see, and just the way it is just nuts. How everything plays out, and the torture again and again and again. And then at the end of the movie, when you think that they couldn't do anything more to torture this individual, torture you as the audience, and just royally f this person. It is, they jaw drop you there, and it is just, it is just crazy. But yeah, so I just blown away by everything in this movie, and I'm glad that I went and watched it. I'm glad that it was recommended and that I could watch it again. That works. I hope you guys watch this. I'm going to give it my honorious 5 pools of blood, which is the top. Nothing beats 5 pools of blood here. Just everything they did here was just so perfectly done in my eyes, and the way they put everything together to just drive you. And I think I did see one of the quotes from the director, I think, and the press release that I put out. I did kind of glance at it afterwards, and they set out with a point and they did it, and and I credit them for that. And I've actually had a movie idea, to do almost this in a different way. Not what happens here, but what the point of what they're doing here, but in a different way. And I'm glad that they did it. It took guts to do what they did in this movie. I don't think you'll see an American version to this movie, but I didn't think you'd see a Speak No Evil American version, and we're apparently getting that. So you never know. But I don't see it. They wouldn't do it, and they couldn't handle it at all. It wouldn't happen. But yeah, this is getting 5 pools of blood. I'll say it right now. This is going to be hard to beat. In my eyes, I know there's some really good movies that have come out that I haven't reviewed yet at this point. I've seen 1 or 2 and haven't seen 1 or 2 that I know that lots of people are liking. But I don't foresee those being better in my eyes. They're different, and they're more to the horror that we're used to. And this is not the horror that we're used to. So whatever you might, again, so that might play, a part in your book. But, my reaction to this movie, I'm going to find it hard to believe that there's going to be any other movie this year that gives me this reaction. So, this very well be number one at the end of the year. So I'll just put that out there. For us, for me, it's new. For me, it counts this year. I see here on IMDb, it says 2022. Again, it has been at, I guess, some festivals and so forth. But I guess being, for us over here, it is coming new. So, so 5 pools of blood. And like I said, I hopefully didn't give away anything. I don't think I gave away anything. Maybe you can take a gander of what is happening. But to get the whole experience and the whole torture that goes on here, you really have to see it. Read the subtitles if you don't understand. Please pay attention to the movie and everything, and how they set everything up, how everything is driven. There's little things, and then there are big things that are just absolutely nuts. So yeah, like that's it. Like, see the movie, please do. Don't go, I said again, and I've shared the press release a couple times after watching this movie, just to kind of get it turning or whatever. But yeah, the less you know, the better. Don't go, if you watch this review and are like, oh, I want to see the trailer, just don't. Don't watch the trailer, whatever. Just find out where you can see this movie, and see the movie, and then you might be mad at me later. You might be like, why did you do that to me? Why now I'm stuck with this in my head too, and that is fine. Whatever. But yeah, and if you don't like somebody, and or you want somebody to see horror that they don't like, and you're gonna piss them off, this might be that movie. Some people do that. They send the movies that that they're just not gonna like, and it's gonna mess them up. This is going to be one of those movies, so you can put that in front of them. But yeah, woo. So yeah, again, 5 pools of blood out of 5. So that's a perfect score there. Lots of pools of blood for this one. And yeah, so horrorsgorereviews.blogspot.com is where you can find all of my reviews, written and video. Obviously, more video ones of late. So definitely subscribe, like, and do everything that everybody wants you to do on YouTube. If not, no worries. It is okay. It is fine. Twitter, Facebook as well. You can find me there. If you do watch this movie and then hate me afterwards, you can tweet that you hate me there. And in the comment section, do the same. You know, once you see this movie, you can say, why did you make me watch that? I'm emotionally tortured now too. And we can all be disturbed together in one good horror community of the disturbed. So yeah, again, see the movie. Don't know too much about it. Pay attention and enjoy your torture. So with that, I will catch you in the next review, horror fans.